Welcome back to another week of fall watching. For those of you who missed it, last week we had a little bit of a baby boom, meaning I had a whole bunch of babies kind of within that week. Luckily, they were nice enough to kind of scatter it out throughout the week and not, cram it all into a couple days. But I figured because we did have the baby boom, and I have 2 new faces to introduce you to, and I'm going to have more faces later this week to introduce you to, I'm going to do a quick recap on who's who, just because I feel like for the sake of everyone's brain, it will just be nice to remember. Anyway, to start off, we have this mare. Her light is broken, or else I would turn it on. She's carrying a Constitution. She just came in. I wouldn't be overly surprised if she foals this week, but I'm leaning a little bit toward next week. This mare is new as well. She's carrying a Medallia. She's definitely, I think, more next week, not this week. And then we have this mare down here who's carrying a Yupon. She is probably, I think at this point, the one who's past her due date, compared to everybody else. She's been coming along fine. There hasn't really been any worry per se. So she's doing all the right things. Baby will come when it wants to come. She still doesn't really have any wax, but she's got a full bag. So she'll just go whenever she wants. I actually wouldn't be surprised if it's this week. I would prefer it to be this week rather than next week, but like I said, she'll foal when she wants to foal. This is a mare carrying a twirling candy. Either she has dirt or wax. I looked at it, shined the flashlight on it to see if it glinted, and I was like, well, I guess we'll find out in a couple hours if that's dirt or wax. But yeah, so she's one. I wouldn't be surprised if it's this week or next week. If it is wax, I definitely wouldn't be surprised if it's this week. Then we got one of my personal mares. This is the mare who was expecting my second personal baby of the year. This is Rue. She's carrying a country house. I wouldn't be surprised if end of this week or next week she foals. But as of right now, she's just kind of vibing, doing her thing. I got babysitters over here. Well, they're not really babysitters. They're due later on. Right now, they're just here for whatever rhyme or reason. We got this mare who's carrying a Curlin. I don't think she'll foal this week. I think she's better off next week, week after. But she's coming along just fine. Then we have this mare. She's a first timer. She's also carrying a Yupon. She's got quite a bit of a bag. She's occasionally had like a little bit of wax. The big thing with her recently is her personality change. She's been relatively a fairly sweet mare. We actually just got her out of the sale recently from our client. And she's been fine, but past couple days I've definitely noticed the angry ears have been a trend. Like she actually tried to bite me the other day, and I was like, oh, that was rather rude, which is very abnormal for her. So I think the attitude change is definitely an indication she's getting closer. I wouldn't be surprised if she does fold this week because of it. And then we have who I think is our best chance to have a baby for tonight. I'll be very surprised if she doesn't foal this week. We got this mare who's carrying a Practical Joke. And I don't know if you can see it too well, but she's got a little bit of wax on either side. So I think she's a pretty solid chance of having a baby this week. However, if you followed last week, you know the ghost zapper over there, drug had wax for like 2 weeks. Ugh, and drug out that whole process. Who else do we have? This mare is carrying an Essential Quality. I'm hoping she's going to hold on a little bit longer. She technically isn't due until a little bit later next month. But, like, she kind of just started showing signs that, hey, I have a little bit more of a bag. And I was like, no, you don't. And so we brought her in earlier than planned. And we've got her on some meds just to tell her, hey, cross your legs a little bit longer. But technically she is in the safe zone. It's just one of those things I'm like, I'd prefer you to wait, Anyway, this next one is another one. I wouldn't be surprised if we foal this week. She is carrying a Warfront. She has a little bit of wax on one side, but in my opinion, her boob could definitely fill out just a smidge more. Who are you? This mare is carrying a Tappet. I think she's got a while. She's just kind of creeping and crawling. She's got the coolest forelock, all that mane. And then I actually have another tappet over here. I think this one's also got a while. Goodness, look, did you have fun in the mud today? Goodness, I had someone comment. I have people comment all the time because obviously I work night shift. So I don't necessarily get to show you all what happens during the day right now. I'm hoping to change that obviously here within the next month when the weather starts getting better. But I've had some people be like, do they not ever go outside? I'm like, oh, trust me, they go outside. Look at all that mud. Have the time of their lives. They're only inside at night. And honestly, the majority of their life, they're outside all day. Then we have another Medallia. Her due date's technically next week. She hasn't really done anything. I mean, I've just kind of been sitting here waiting, twiddling my thumbs for her to do anything. But no, just vibing. She's like, yeah. But you look like you're gonna have a big kiddo. So I don't know. I have a feeling she's gonna go well past her due date, which is fine. She'll go whenever she likes. I think that's all caught up because she's got a baby. Not that you can see. She's got a baby. Oh yeah, we're all caught up. But yeah, so that's everything that is currently in this barn. I definitely have a few I'm expecting should foal this week. It's either just gonna be one of the things where it's either gonna be one of those things where we have like 1 or 2 this week and everyone else kind of stacks up, or we're gonna have another baby boom, like a little wave 2. I wouldn't be surprised if next week, if they decide to hold off from this week, then the baby boom will be next week. Although, listen, y'all, my birthday is Wednesday. Okay, do we hear that? So, it's just me saying, I would not mind a birthday baby from one of you ladies, if that's a possibility. I understand it's up to you and the kiddo. It's a combined effort of what y'all want to do. But just keep it in mind. Throwing it out there to the universe. Wednesday, my birthday. I would like a birthday baby. Anyway, I guess we're gonna buckle in for the night. I'm gonna braid the tails of those 2 lovely ladies that have the little bit of wax. And I guess we're just gonna wait and see. It is now Tuesday. Yes, it's Tuesday. Nothing really interesting happened Monday night, which is kind of what we were expecting. Are we gonna have a baby tonight? However, definitely a possibility. This practical joke, she has been a little bit uncomfortable. She now has significant wax. She's actually been dripping milk every once in a while. She'll kind of randomly dig holes, just as she does. So yeah, she'll be randomly, you'll see, she kind of all of a sudden pins her ears, gets grumpy. She's a really sweet mare. So it's just kind of baby's been moving, pissing her off. So I have a feeling baby within 48 hours. I would really like if she decided to go after midnight tonight, because then I can have my birthday baby. But obviously, they're going to go when they want to. I'm not going to cry about it. Anyway, I do have a few more faces to introduce you to. There's a chance we might have another baby with somebody else, but I think she's our best chance as of right now. Who is this? Oh, this mare is carrying an army mule. Fun fact, she is actually the dam of my very first racehorse that I've ever had. He recently retired this year or last year. I've mentioned him a little bit, and when I introduced you all to the 2 new horses that had arrived, I'm doing a whole series on them. It's been weather, right? Winter. So that's actually his mom. I don't own her. Someone else owns her. So, but it's nice to have everybody here. And then this mare is carrying a knot this time. Overall, I think we got a while for those 2. Is that all the new kiddos that I have? I think so for now. But yeah, I think tonight our best chance is definitely going to be that practical joke. There is the chance with one of the U-Pawns in a war front as well. But where they're all first-time mamas, it's kind of one of those things where they don't really know what to expect, and sometimes they'll send mixed signals, and they'll send the mixed signals for so long. Anyway, so I'm gonna wait for her I guess. Hopefully, maybe. And I'm gonna try to get you all this this foaling kit and foaling process video out by tomorrow. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Never goes according to plan. Look, I just want y'all to know, I was about to lay flat on my stomach for a second. You want to tell them? Look what I about face planted in. Look this. Look at that baby poop. I almost took a face plant. And don't get up on top of me. That would have been really not pleasant to wash off. So Mama was indeed kind enough to go after midnight, which means I have a birthday buddy. We have a little practical joke filly. I don't know what you know where the boob is. She goes, I only know where it is on one side. Didn't realize that there were two sides yet. Anyway, Mama's been doing pretty good. There's some first-time mamas, they pick it up right away. They're like, oh my God, baby, I love it. And then there's some that are kind of a little more wary. They're like, huh, what is this? She's been a little bit more of the second. Like, she's been polite and everything, but she's kind of been more like, this came out of me. Like, what am I supposed to do with it? Other than take care of it. Like, is it a friend? Is it a built-in friend? Or is it just constantly here? It's kind of a little bit of both. You're stuck with it for the meantime. Why are you deciding, are legs that hard? She's like, yes. Fine, I will assist, even though you were fine 5 minutes ago. Anyway, she did figure it out. I had realized she had only been nursing off of the other side. She hadn't actually nursed off of this side yet. And for some babies, it's like no problem whatsoever realizing, hey, mom has two sides. She's got two, goodness, she has two places to get milk from. And other ones, they're like, oh my God, this is like the absolute most mind-blowing thing you could have ever told me. Luckily, mom's kind of like a dairy cow. She's been producing a ton of milk. Oh, yes. Anyway, so baby mom doing fabulous. I'm going to slip on out, if you don't mind. I'm going to pat you on the butt. Oh, thank you. There was not much room to sneak out of there. Anyway, what is that? Oh, that is my garbage truck. I thought it was the horse trailer. I have a horse that's scheduled for pickup. I think it's 7. And then I think there's also a breeding shed run or something. I don't know. There's a lot going on. But like I had mentioned kind of earlier this week, I think we're only going to have maybe 1 or 2 babies this week. I think obviously she just had hers. I think she's our best bet for a next one, or maybe the Yupon down there. But I'm kind of more leaning to our next baby boom is going to happen after the full moon. A full moon is Saturday. So I definitely fully expect, us to have a second wave. Yeah. Yes. Look how big this thing is. It's just baffling. I bred you to the smallest thing and still. Anyway, I guess, oh, there they go. I guess until tomorrow. It is now Wednesday evening. Baby from last night is currently doing some form of yoga. What are you doing? Okay, decisions were made. I'm not gonna lie, originally, earlier this evening, about an hour ago, I was like, we ain't gonna have a baby. The vibes aren't there, right? I think I'm wrong. I think I might be wrong. This Yupon over here has been kind of shifty, uncomfortable. She's also a smidge warm, but it's not, like, I'm in just a hoodie, like a long sleeve and a hoodie. So it's not necessarily like it's cold to begin with. She does have quite a bit of wax, but she's kind of had wax for a while. And her boob could stand to be a little fuller, but she's definitely doing moving, grooving, stretching, all that jazz. So, I guess we're gonna wait for her and see how wrong I was, because I was so confident on TikTok. I was like, we're not gonna have a baby tonight. The vibes aren't there. But also, no, she's currently conked out taking a nap. You can't see her. But there's a war front that also has a little bit of wax, but she's been pretty quiet. So, I think we're mainly just waiting to see if this lady decides to do something, which by the looks of it, I think there actually might be a good possibility. So I lied to myself earlier. Well, my ladies were rather kind to me this year because they gave me 2 birthday babies, the one from last night, and then this one was born before midnight, so that does give me 2. Yeah, this is a first time mama. She very much loves the baby. This is the Yupon. She was a little overprotective about me being, oh goodness. She was a little overprotective at the beginning with me being in the stall when the baby was laying down. She was fine with me cleaning the stall and helping her earlier. I know. But then after a while, she was like, okay, get out. And so I was like, okay, I'll stay out. Yeah. But goodness. Oh, you had it by yourself earlier. But yeah, I think part of it is also right now her milk is kind of like kicking in and it's annoying her. And so I think she's like, oh, I'll take it out on you. You were the one who was messing with it earlier when I tested it. So yeah. Anyway, baby's doing great, obviously, besides the fact it just plummeted. It had literally just stood, so I wasn't overly surprised. Yeah. You're such a cute little thing. You're so tiny. Yeah. But with mares that tend to be a little overprotective, I do give them their space that they want and that they request. But I do also make sure that they are well aware that, hey, I do occasionally need to come in and either handle you or baby. I don't do it often. Like, it will be like little 5, like I'm outside of the stall right now. But it's just like, hey, just 5 minutes. Let me check y'all. Not even that. Make sure y'all are good. Then I'll leave you alone. Goodness. I have another mare down there who's dreaming. She's in dreamland. But yeah. No, I'm so annoyed. I messed up. I always delete my stuff pretty regularly, and I also clear out my trash can. And I know it's like, oh, delete it after 30 days and it's a backup, but I always need storage for stuff. I deleted on accident their first times. I'm sorry. Their first snuggles and stuff of that nature. I'm so sad. Oh well. So that's why there's not so many cute snuggle videos and it's all standing with those kids. Anyway, nothing else really happened tonight, which is kind of about what I expected at this point. 2 things, however, It is supposed to rain here in a couple hours, and the full moon is Saturday, so it's currently Thursday morning. With the combination of those things, it's not necessarily surprising that a mare or two might start shifting a little bit. So originally I've kind of been thinking maybe 1 or 2 babies this week, with a big baby boom from the weekend to next week. At this stage, I still feel like that is probably a good possibility, especially with the way this weather is coming in. But also with the weather coming in, it can make me a liar, and we have another 1 or 2 before this weekend. I do have a few that have kind of been stacking up. I wouldn't be surprised, but I'm still leaning for the whole weekend thing. Anyway, I guess we're gonna see. What are you playing with? Anyway, I guess we'll see exactly what happens tomorrow. It is now Thursday night, Friday morning. Not gonna lie, originally when I came in, I was like, the vibes aren't really there. I said the same thing yesterday. I was like, And then I was like, we might have one. I was like, if she goes, it'll be around like 3 a.m., 4 a.m. It ended up being 1 a.m. Meow. So yeah, I kind of was expecting you. Do you want to say hi? She was like, I was kind of expecting her, but at the same time, she was so quiet. So quiet. She never walked. She didn't get hot. She was literally just eating her hay when she broke water. I was like, girl, do you not even know what's going on? Well, apparently not. She is the first time out, but she did great. She's got the cutest little filly. Aren't you? She's so active. Anyway, let me show you this child. Proud girl. Doesn't she just have the... I know. You got the coolest little marking. Yeah, you do. By technicality, I guess it would be well, it's got a star, but it's too high for a snip. I guess they would by technicality consider it a broken blaze. That still doesn't feel right. Anyway, we finally had a little war front filly. You gonna stand? Oh goodness. So she's the first foal from this mare. She's very strong bodied. She's a really good size. If you've looked at some other first time babies we've had, some of them will be a bit on the smaller side, some are about her size, which is average. Oh goodness, but average, better than average. Oh, big stretch. I know, Mom scared you. You were just a little too aggressive. She's still sensitive. She gotta get used to it. But yeah, no, she's a pretty good sized filly. Obviously, Mom, she squealed. She's forgiven. But she's been doing really well. She was very excited to have her baby. And then it stood up for the first time. And she was kind of like, oh my God, it stands. I'm like, yeah, it does do that, unfortunately. And then, for those of you who've never had to nurse anything, especially the first couple times, it's not always pleasant. There's always a lot of tension and pressure. And it's not the greatest feeling in the world when they're messing around with it. So the squeals, we are forgiven. Absolutely. As long as they don't kick or anything, they can squeal all they want. But once the babies start nursing, they'll relax and they feel better. But yeah, she's passed everything with flying colors, stood, nursed, all that jazz. Mama's passed everything with flying colors. She's handled everything like a pro. So, that's... I kept saying the word quiet this week, and normally the word quiet doesn't actually stir up anything. People always say, be careful what you say when you say the word quiet. You're gonna have babies coming out the wazoo. And, you know, this has been the first time I think it's ever been, like, minorly accurate. In the meantime, I've got two more faces to say hello to. We've got this mare who's carrying a golden pal. And then there's another little lady over here. Oh, goodness. Snorty snorts. Oh, big sigh. But we got another mare over here, and she's carrying a good magic. Fun fact of the day about this lovely little lady. Originally, back when her owners had her as a baby, her nickname was Fugly, because she was effing ugly. But now she's definitely bloomed a little bit better into something much, much prettier, haven't you? You still don't have the world's prettiest knee, but it's nothing genetic. It was just bad luck type thing. She goes, I'm no longer an ugly duckling. I am a beautiful swan. And anyway, do I think anything else is going to happen this week? I don't know. My original guess was we were going to have 1 to 2 babies, right? We've now had, 1, 2, 3, right? 3? Okay, I wasn't too far off if that's the case. I still obviously work tomorrow night as well. But at this stage, no one else has any wax. No one's dripping milk. There's definitely a few that they have boob in, like, they're really close and they're relaxed behind, but I don't know. We got a couple hours. It was raining earlier today, so I wouldn't be overly surprised if, something pops up. The one who I think is actually going to wax up next might be this lady, and then maybe one of these two. But I have a feeling this mare on the end is not going to wax up before she foals. I was trying to remember last year if she did or not. I feel like she did. It was just minor, and it was like 48 hours before she foaled. For the most part, anything that we have foaled before, I typically remember just off the top of my brain, like the before and during and after of what it was, like how early they waxed, how their labor was, and how good, bad, anything else afterwards was. But this year we have a whole lot of new faces that are first-time mamas. And so I don't have a script to go off of for them. It's just a lot of, waiting and seeing. Anyway, I guess we're going to see how tomorrow goes. If I keep saying the word quiet, maybe we'll pop out 1 or 2 more. I wouldn't be morally opposed to that. Although I'm sure my weekend night shift would probably appreciate us saving them 1 or 2. It is now Friday night. Now, in all honesty, I think almost every day this week I've been like, Yeah, it's pretty quiet. This is our best chance of a baby, but everyone's been pretty quiet. And then I eat my words a couple hours later. Well, I mean, same thing. Last night after baby was born, everyone was quiet. Everyone behaved. However, I actually wouldn't be surprised if we have baby tonight, but in like a different, for different reasoning. Goodness, this mare, she's not necessarily the world's sweetest mare. Towards the end of her pregnancy, she's definitely had a little bit of a change. She is suddenly no longer angry earing everybody and trying to bite. We have suddenly decided we like people. Yeah, haven't we? Now, her bag is pretty, well, now she makes angry ears. See how it is. Her bag is pretty full. She does not currently have wax. But, I'm sorry, didn't mean to startle you. But because of her little bit of an attitude change, I think she's our best bet for the night. Besides that, I don't know. I mean, really, there's a whole bunch of them that, like, yeah, sure, they could go whenever, like the stinking Yupon. But for the most part, I'm not, like, staring at someone being like, oh my God, tonight's the night. It's more like a, okay, cool. Let me know if you're up for it. Anyway, because we're gonna buckle in and find out how right or wrong we are this time. I have to laugh. Remember how I said, I was like, oh, that one mare, she might go. It's not her. It's gonna be mine. She didn't, she just got a little warm and she walked, but there was no wax, no nothing. But I realized she was gonna fall because I walked past her and she started talking to me and I was like, oh, what do you want? And I walk in there, I was like, oh, you're getting a little toasty. She's like, oh, don't lay down there. It's too close to the wall. Yeah, I know, I'm sorry. Come on. I know. There you go, it's a much better spot. I'll leave you alone. But yeah, I was just like, oh, I'll try to be sneaky. I see it. Anyway, I'll get back to work and wait for her. And show you baby later. Well, I know Fillies are currently leading the pack in the Colt versus Filly race that is being had. I actually need to double check how many fillies and colts we have. I don't even remember at this point. Anyway, in my personal battle of how many colts and fillies I personally own, the colts are dominating. I have an Instagram colt, and now I have a country house colt as well. This mare, she's so sweet. I own her in a partnership, and so we each have a leg, and so I got a leg of this kiddo as well. We also own her 2-year-old, and she is currently in Florida, but she'll be racing for us likely later, probably late this year, early next year. I think it'll kind of depend on how she comes along. They say she's been doing really well over there, but now we give her a little brother. What you doing? He is very, very bold for such a newborn. He's got a lot of leg and a lot of size. His sister was the first baby, and it's not necessarily uncommon for first babies to be a bit on the smaller side. And she was definitely a little bit on the shorter side, but she had like a really strong quarter horse looking body. This kid looks more 2 turns. So she was more of a sprinter. He looks more like he's gonna get the distance, less speed. Just long, leggy looking. Isn't that right? He's like, yep, I'm just looking for a spot to lay down. You're gonna come lay down next to me? Yeah, okay. Kerplunk. Anyway, for the rest of the night, no one necessarily did anything. The other mare who I was saying was minorly friendly, which was abnormal for her. She didn't really do anything. I wouldn't be overly surprised. I know, contrary to belief, I wouldn't be overly surprised if Weekend Night Watch has a baby. I think it's between a couple 3. Just because we had the full moon, and I have kept saying, oh, we're not going to have a baby tonight, or, oh, it's been kind of quiet, and then something happens. Isn't that right? You seem very... I was going to say, you seem very intent with my conversation. Yeah? Your eyes almost sit a little bit in the front of your head, which is a little predator-like. It's a little creepy. He's like, will you stop making fun of me? No. No, I will not. Anyway, I have for anyone who's wanted the foaling kit and like the foaling process video, that should officially be up already. And yeah, I guess we're gonna, I have a feeling, I don't know, if we have 2 or 3 babies this weekend, I got a feeling we're gonna have a long break before our next one. But if we don't, then I have a feeling we're gonna come back and immediately have quite a few on Monday, Tuesday. Goodness, are you gonna bury yourself? You know, I tried to fix your stall and fluff it up, and then your mother turned away my idea. He's like, yep, not my fault. Not my fault at all. What about you? We need to fix your mane, by the way. Your mane's a little bit of a mess. We started working on it, but we have not finished it. You need a good bath and a good groom. Anyway, you're almost a little weirdly intelligent. But not like in like a cute factor, more like a creepy factor. It's like your eyes are a little small instead in the front of your head. Anyway, it's a little creepy. I guess I'm gonna go take my nap now and enjoy my couple nights off. Yes. About to say we got a busy day of racing today, so that's what I'm gonna be doing. Well, I guess I'll catch you all up if we have any kiddos over the weekend. But for the most part, well, you know, if I say the quiet word one more time, I'm gonna jinx anything. So I'm not gonna say it. I will wait and see till next time.